Millwall podcast. Good evening, Bobby T. Dirty Leeds Northern cunts. What happened? It's Millwall too. Dirty Leeds marching on together. Millwall 2-0. Hit.
Took the shot, hit the net, deflection, 2, 3, 4, hear the roar. Liam Roberts slams the door. We are Millwall, loud and proud. Conquer Leeds, silence the crowd. Fifth round calling, hear us say, Lions are roaring on our way. Lions are roaring on our way. Leeds had the chances, but couldn't score. Neil's got the Lions hungry for more. Condell missed. We came back, seized at the double, that's a fact.
Good evening, welcome to another edition of that Millwall podcast. You'll see that I'm joined by a different face today. Some of the other lads are otherwise engaged, shall we say. Yeah, I am joined by Anthony all the way from the States. He's a regular listener. We're going to decide how we're going to be doing this in a minute, and whether or not we carry on like this, depending, or whether or not we'll move over to a space and get it that way, because it looks as if potentially I am on lag, but we'll go from there anyway. Good evening, Anthony. How you doing, fella? You all right?
Doing all right. For those who may remember, I was on last Super Bowl Saturday. So I reached out to Mickey last night, actually, saying, hey, can I do this again? It's a nice time. It's the end of the transfer window. Obviously, really good results, and obviously the big cup win yesterday. So just, works nice. Maybe make this a yearly thing. Obviously, would like to come on more when I can, but at the very least, I like Super Bowl Sunday, getting on here and talking to Millwall.
Yeah, no, that's it. So, yesterday we went to the mighty Leeds and pretty much humiliated them at their own place. It wasn't that we won, by a last minute goal or a lucky goal. We went out and spanked them basically in their own backyard. Well, as always with Leeds, they were deeply upset, didn't like it, and they come out with everything of, is that all you bring, and all of this sort of stuff. Oh, look who's come out of the woodwork and all that. Look, here's what it is. We beat you. You're out of the cup. We're into the next round. It just looks as if, unfortunately, there's a lot of the other big clubs what seem to be out of the next round too. We'll go from there. But I think there's a lot to pick apart from yesterday, and we're going and we're just looking to see what's what. I mean, those of you in the chat, if you prefer us to maybe move this over to a space where obviously you can all come in, or you can drop us a DM and I can get you on here. But I think possibly we might look at going over. I love that one. The Leeds yesterday. I don't know how much socials you've seen, Anthony, but Leeds yesterday, we're basically saying that we only won because we were playing their B team. That's
the side they put out, and we beat them.
No, that's it.
That's their call. Yeah.
No, that's it. So it'll be interesting. Let's take your over the pond view then of make yourself.
Yeah.
What's what,
so,
mate? So yeah.
Made, I think, 4 or 5 changes. Roberts in goal, Bangura Williams to the bench. We brought in Neckley to start for the first time. And I was thrilled with the final change, which was Wes Harding. What a performance from him yesterday, coming cold. Hasn't played with the first team in months. And I was really happy with his performance for him. He seems like a good guy, staying active on the socials, staying active with the team, even as he's a, fourth, fifth option at this point. But he did superb. Obviously, Femi with both goals. The second one in particular had half the field to run. It was basically 3-4 defenders back, and he still got it into the back of the net, which was outstanding to see him coming back from injury. Casper just continues to run. I keep, worrying, how long can Saville and Denor continue to be the partnership, play match in, match out. Saville got the rest yesterday, but Casper just continues to run all over the pitch. So credit to him. And then Roberts, I know it was a weak penalty called against Kundal. I thought it was originally, but then looking back, it did look a little soft. And then I think Alex, after the match, said it was a soft one. But what a save from Roberts. Outstanding. Pushed it off the post. And fairly comfortable otherwise. A lot of good performances like Wes. Joe Bryan, continuing to play at a good level. Did well. And, thrilled and looking forward to the draw tomorrow to see who we get in the next round.
Yeah, no, I think the draw will be fun tomorrow. I have posted the link in the chat if anyone wants to come on. Then do so. No dramas at all, mate. I will get you on. Probably the biggest regret of our life because we'll probably have loads of trolls. But hey ho, it is what it is, and it's all good fun. No, I think what the exciting bit about it is that we had quite a few of the key players out yesterday because they were cup tied. But I think Alex Neil, in a short time, what he's been there, and I think I was having this conversation yesterday with someone that personally, I think that out of the managers, what were being touted around at the time, Bloomfield, Schumacher, etc. Robbins, etc. I honestly believe that fate had a hand because Alex Neil came to us and applied. It wasn't a factor of us going and saying, would you be interested, etc. Like a lot of people do when they want a new manager. He actually come to us and said, I quite fancy this. I fancy this challenge. I want to have a bit of this. And I think that just shows you the merits of a man to a degree. But I think the fact that the players now seem to be fighting for the badge, they seem to not want to stop. They seem to be absolutely giving it with their all. We can then go away to. I know people say, "Oh, it's a B team Leeds." I don't think it was a B team Leeds. There was still some of their top players there, and they obviously didn't want to drop out of the cup this early. But I just think they totally underestimated what we were going to do. And those who've been to Leeds and ever been to Leeds, the biggest thing at Leeds is if you can keep the crowd silent, then you can control the atmosphere. If you can control the atmosphere, you're going to win that game. And I think yesterday just showed the positivity, the want, the passion, just basically controlled it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been talk even, as successful as the transfer window was, bringing in the quality of players we did, not to have, a Honeyman really on the pitch anymore, just kind of a motor, just kind of running there. But like he comes on for 20 minutes and he, does his part. He continues to keep his foot down at 2-0. He played his role. He ran after the ball. Watmore came on, did the same thing. So I think the subs have come on and they've wanted it as well. They've wanted to see out that match yesterday. I thought it was, as I mentioned in the beginning, a total effort from so many different players to get over the line. You thought, all right, after the penalty miss, they brought on a couple players, Leeds, that, their fans would consider their A squad. So you thought, all right, maybe they'll have a little more of the ball. Maybe they'll score a goal. and get them back in it, but it never happened. Just everyone played their role yesterday, and the result was never in doubt at the end of the match.
No, that's it. Completely agree. For some unknown reason, my computer is really playing up, and I've somehow managed to ban someone, and I don't know how to get them unbanned at the minute. So yeah, leave with me, Pete. I will try and get you back in a minute, mate. But yeah, do apologise. But no, I think the same. I think it's. I just think we're a completely different team to where we were. And Leeds were what I think they've been beaten 5 defeats all season, and we've given them 2. I thought it was 3 to be fair, and we've given them 2 of them. So yeah, and I think when we go back there in April, we're giving some more. So yeah,
I think the stats shared after match. I think it was Sanders on Twitter. They've lost 3 times in the last 5 months, and 2 of them have been to Millwall. I think that was the stat.
yeah, that was a stat. So yeah, I think that was a stat. So yeah. Oh no, Pete, you're timed out. Where is it? There we go. Yeah, Pete, you've been timed out by me for some reason for 300 seconds. So if you are watching, you will be allowed back in shortly. But yeah, at the moment, you can't. So I don't know why I done it, and I didn't mean to. But yeah, it's I'm in a different part of the house, and for some reason there seems to be a lag. But hey ho, it's all good fun. If we cut off, then we're even more. So yeah. Yeah, Alex S says if Ganoto is it and someone else, etc., B team, then they have some first team. Tony W says, to be fair, we've only beaten them twice so far this season. So yeah, it's all. I think it's all good. I am trying to get. This is going to be a nightmare if the comments aren't working either. Talk about thrown in at the deep end, and then Baz Lee says, "Where is everyone tonight, Mick?" I've got no fucking clue, mate. Everyone's just busy. I think that's the problem. Everyone's out and about. We might get some stragglers in a bit, but we'll see what's what. Oh, yeah, we've got one in. There we go. See, Alex Grace is here. Alex,
Hello.
hello. You all right?
Hello.
Welcome, Anthony. Meet
All good, mate.
Alex. Meet Anthony. There you go.
Hello, mate.
We were just talking about how different the last few weeks have been under Alex Neil. Obviously, you've been involved in the press conferences. I get to hear some of the press conferences, even though you won't fucking send them to me, but still. That's what you call a real mate, innit? Don't fucking send it. But yeah, I think it's a whole different chapter. I think he's a different gravy, to be honest. What's your views of dealing with him on a more personal level than obviously me? What's your thoughts of him and how he seemed? I don't think I've ever met a manager who gets us so much, apart from maybe Neil Harris.
Yeah, look, I think you look at him. He's very down to earth. I think is the first thing to say about him. He doesn't have an ego. He doesn't come in with an ego. He is, and he really seems to buy into what the club is. If you listen to him after Luton, actually, he said like he loves what the club is, and he feels like he's been working there for a long time because of the feel. I do really quite like being able to talk to him because he is very, very, as you say, he's very down to earth, and he's just easy to deal with. Each manager we've had over the last few years has been different to deal with. If you look at Gary, for instance, he was media friendly. Gary was well media trained, if you like. Joe was good to deal with. Alex Neil was fairly good. And you look at Neil Harris as well, he was good most of the time, unless you lost, then he could be a bit difficult. But generally, I like the way he is. I mean, even after, I think it was his first game in charge. Was it Oxford, his first game in charge?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was very, he was very easy to deal with after that. He doesn't seem to get too high or too low, and I think that's a key thing to have when you're a manager or a head coach.
No, I totally agree with you. London Line, yeah, we'll come on to onto that in a little bit, mate. I mean, I think it was Matt who said he's a breath of fresh air. He understands the environment. He's realistic and he's very humble, which I agree with. And also, it's nice to see a manager looking up rather than looking down, rather than having conversations about, oh, we need this to be safe. There's not been any in his press conferences of anything about relegation. He's just, this is a battle, and this is what we're going, and this is it. And that's the way we keep marching on. So yeah, I suppose the interesting one, what we'll raise now, while both of you are on, so it gives me a little bit of thingy that both of you can speak. Liam Roberts or Jensen, personally, I feel a lot more comfortable with Roberts in goal than I do with Jensen in charge. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so I actually, the match was going on towards the end yesterday. I almost tweeted this, and I didn't want to come off as insensitive, but now I've prefaced it with that. The thought of losing Matty Sarkic and then now having two goalkeepers of such a quality level is a testament to really the turnaround of the entire environment of the club. How you lost someone so young and in such a tragic way, and for the club to have now two keepers so quickly, it's a great testament to Matty and Memorance that we continue to have good, strong keeping play. And that's what I thought of when I thought of, like, wow, like Roberts really put in a first team performance yesterday, and to see him and Jensen doing this, I just thought of Matty yesterday in that. But I think Roberts has put himself in contention now for first team. I'd still stick with Jensen, but I don't think there's a wrong choice here. Alex?
I think you're right in terms of, I don't think there is a wrong choice. If you look at his performance yesterday, I mean, terrific. I think his kicking is a bit better as well than what Lucas Jensen's is. But what I will say about Jensen as well, he's made some very good stops at some very key times. I mean, you look at QPR last week, he made some top quality saves. It's hard to say. I'd be confident with either one in goal. I think if you look at Jensen, he had a bit of a rocky start. But I think he's got better. He's got a lot better as time's gone on. A bit like Sarkic did. He had a bit of a poor start, but then again he grew in confidence. I think if you look at Jensen, I mean, he's only conceded 24 goals, I think, all season. So 26 goals, or I think it's 26. So I think both are very, very good options.
That's nearly won a game, Alex.
Yeah, but it's also the best defence outside the top six in the league.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there, but I don't know. I just think it's.
I think you've got to look at the goals that you concede and whether they're the keeper's fault. I think a lot of that is. I think you've got to look at it that way.
Do you think we would have won yesterday's game 2-0 if Jensen was in goal? You think he would have saved that penalty?
No. It's a very good stop. I've got to be honest. It's a very good stop. I don't think he's faced a penalty, has he? I don't think. Have we had a penalty given against us in the league this season? I don't think he's faced one.
I want to say one.
I thought there was one the other day, wasn't there? It was, I can't think who that was from. Yeah, there was a penalty the other day when which was the first time. It weren't at home, was it? It was away.
No,
Can't-
no. We
Oh
had
no,
a
that was
penalty
us
and missed
winning
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
I
the
mean,
Connolly penalty.
yeah. I mean, I don't think we faced a penalty all season, so really don't know. I mean, it's pot luck, isn't it? Because if you guess the right way, you know,
My black,
it's hard to say.
no, that's it. My Blackledge says, yeah, most of those 26 games, 26 goals came in the 2 games early in the season when defence was shit, which I agree
Yeah,
with. There was probably about 11 then, wasn't there? So yeah,
yeah. I
yes,
mean,
Yeah,
we
7 goals.
conceded
There you go,
7 in the
7.
first 2, didn't we?
Yeah,
So
that's it.
yeah,
I am seeing your
and
comments, by the way, but I can't seem to get them up without because for some reason my screen is on a proper lag. You can hear me quite well, but yeah, my camera isn't catching up with it in a minute. But we're play by ear and go from there. So yeah,
yeah. Like Alex said though, like we have a top 5 defense record in the league, so it'd be really tough to sit Jensen when he is performing. Whether the quality of the goals, we could look back at each one, think about each one, but ultimately the numbers are there to defend Jensen as a strong championship keeper. He's got a great
yeah,
center back pairing in front of him, but yeah.
yeah. But I think Roberts commands his box a hell of a lot better. I think he commands 60, 18-yard box much better. He comes out and catches balls. He doesn't palm them off. And he just oozes confidence. Considering that he hasn't really been playing all season, he just absolutely oozes
I can agree
confidence.
there. I think if you look at the way he commands the box, it is a lot better, and I think his handling in terms of crosses and stuff like that is a bit better. I will give him that. Even the Portsmouth game, he was outstanding. Not that he had a lot to do, but he did what he had to do really, really well. And even yesterday, I mean, other than he didn't have an awful lot to do, but
No.
what he did do, he did it well. So, I think it's a great position to be in, to have 2 goalkeepers who could potentially start, and not really have a massive effect on the team either. So, no, look, I
No,
think
I
it's a good
get that.
position to be in.
I get that. I get that completely. I get what you're saying. But yeah, so I mean, both of you ain't been on since we've done it. We've had the window closed.
Mm.
Do you think that the window was a good window? Personally, I think it was a fantastic window. I'd probably say it's probably one of the best windows we've had in our history. To be fair, very much intent, very much look as if most of the guys have hit the ground running. Yes, I think there's a couple of injuries out of the new boys we signed, but other than that, I think people like Femi, which I'll come on to in a little bit. I just think they are showing different gravy. They are getting better and better and better.
Yeah, the window was a success. I was watching on transfer night when Will Scott was on the podcast and he had to disappear quickly for the Lovelace signing. Fegley was a kind of signing we didn't really know. I didn't know about until they actually announced it. Just a lot of great work to bring in a lot of young talent. It was 8 players, average age under 22. You got a fee for Bradshaw for what it's worth. I couldn't tell from the posting and all that, but we might have even gotten a fee for Connell Truman, which I would have found impressive considering he hasn't really played in the last 2 years. And when he did, he went down to League One and conceded 5 goals in each match. So I was kind of surprised that sounds like we might have got a fee for him. No, outstanding. And I think that kind of speaks to, Alex coming right in and feeling comfortable because he was backed in the window. We really put intent once the SA outgoing happened and wish him the best. Don't wish the club the best, but wish him the best. I think we hit the ground running and said, okay, we're going to bring in some talent, going to bring in some young players and really shore up the team. I mentioned it before he came on, Alex, even, you still have a Honeyman who, is no longer going to be looked at as our attacking mid, you're going to try and have him score goals. It just isn't in his cards at the moment. But for him to still come on yesterday, 15, 20 minutes, I don't mind that. I like the effort he brings. I like the passion he brings. So, I like the full roundedness of the squad, and really thrilled with the window.
Alex?
Listen, I think that any window you can bring in 8 players and 7 of them be permanent signings, I think is a terrific month, really. I like the quality of players that they brought in, and I like the model. So, you
I think
say
everyone
it's
likes the
good
model now, mate.
because it was a window that was needed. Let's be honest. I mean, the amount of players and injuries that we had and still have. I mean, I still think it's 12 or 13 first teamers are still out. So it was much needed to bring these players in. I was I was surprised with some of the quality that they managed to get and to get quite quickly towards the end. I mean, I think I was sitting in the press room after the Cardiff game, I think it was, when they equalised right at the death. And I was thinking, my God, it's going to be a long second half of the season if they don't get players through the door because of all the injuries. But no, I think it's a fantastic window. I think some would have maybe liked to get a couple of others out, perhaps who aren't going to play any part now. But overall, listen, great window, some really good signings. And I think it was right for Tom Bradshaw to move on as well because he wasn't going to play. And his time to come to a natural end. And look, to get a fee for him, I think is really good as well.
No, I agree. And I think, you look at the players. I've got a pal who's a Reading fan, and he's been involved in the protests and everything else, and he knows a fair amount of contacts. And I've had a couple of conversations with him over the last month or two, and he was hoping that when we signed Femi, obviously in the last window, that he really hoped that he would hit the Championship and really run, because it seems as if Reading is a crock of shit in a minute, or was a crock of shit, still is a crock of shit. And you had a player who brought into what we were looking to do, and he was adamant he wanted to come. According to my pal, that he instigated the move here. That we obviously had conversations with, but he was adamant that he wanted to come here, and I think that is just great when you got a player who actually wants to come and play for your badge, wants to come and play for you, and sees the potential that he could potentially have. I think because of the way Reading was being run, and it took so long to get it over the line, because they couldn't get anyone to sign off, they couldn't get anyone to do this, do that, everything else. So my pal was saying that most clubs would have probably walked away and went, it's not really worth that much grief. But it seems we stuck with him. He stuck with us. I think Gallen, worked his nuts off. I'm going to say it's Gallen, but I think it was Gallen. So I've heard. But I think he worked his nuts off and went, "Nah, this is a player top of our list. We want him." And yeah, they went out and got him. Started slowly, and now he's on form. But can you imagine what if the same sort of trajectory goes with Kamel, that he settles in for a couple of games and then all of a sudden comes on fire like Femi's coming now. 2 goals at Leeds. He's pretty much starting to walk up the road to becoming a legendary Millwall player over the, depending over the years. I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying that scoring at Leeds and starting to pick up play like you are will absolutely put you on that path towards it, unless you do something stupid. So for a player who was playing League Two last season, because Reading's League One, League Two, League Two, League One,
League One.
So League One last season to now playing Championship, and it looks as if he's definitely not a fish out of water. He looks as if he's 100% deserved to be here.
I actually interviewed Femi back in, was it late August or start of October? It was just before the Luton game in October, I think. And I actually asked him about the move, and sort of how it all came about and how difficult it was because of the prolonged details with the club signing off. And because I think Reading, I don't know what went on in the summer. I think they were close to a sale, then the sale never happened or something like that. And it took a long time for it to get over the line. But the deal it had been agreed, and then the different bits and bobs, and he I think he himself was getting a little bit frustrated. I think that it hadn't gotten because he'd agreed to the move, agreed to the personal terms, and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I think there was frustration from his side, but he was desperate to make the move. I don't know whether that just to play in Championship football. I think he had conversations with Harris at the time as well, and that was quite a sell to him, or particularly as well the process the club was going to go through in terms of playing the young players. I think he got injured just at the wrong time because he was really, really beginning to show his quality, wasn't he? He scored against Sunderland, didn't he? And then I think it was there was a game against Oxford. Yeah, it was. It was Alex Neil's first game because I don't think Rom was playing that one. I don't know what happened to Rom, but I think he was injured or something, so he didn't play, and we were missing him as well. And the lack of creativity in that game summed it up. I actually think I put a tweet out the game and said, "Look, not only are they missing Esse, but they're missing Aziz." Was a huge miss, and I don't think people realise sort of, and I think they'll see now the quality that he'll bring. And I think Rom leaving will actually do him the world of good.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I just see loads of chat in about who you want in the next round. I just throw out there. I want two. I would have had Liverpool as well, but I want Newcastle or Man United away. Because especially Man United, they got a huge stadium, and the rules of the FA Cup are 10% of your stadium. So that'll be close to 10,000 Millwall fans. Yeah, it'll be close to 10,000 Millwall fans. No, they're bigger than that. They're about 90,000 now, I think. So it could be,
Are they? I
8,000.
thought it was only 75. Was it?
I thought it was more than that, but yeah, maybe it is, and maybe it is, maybe. But whatever it is, it's going to be a good 7,000 plus.
Absolutely.
Minimum in it, I suppose. But yeah, what a do over there. I mean, Man City away would be good, but I think the problem is with Man City, they are too good. But we could do what Plymouth did to Liverpool today. So yeah, but I agree with Peter Sullivan. I think we'll probably end up getting someone like Preston North End or Doncaster
Plymouth away.
Or something. Yeah. On a Tuesday night,
we've already gotten the league on Wednesday, so might as well just throw them in the cup again in a couple of weeks. So
there you go. Dan Riggs is coming. 74,310 at Old Trafford.
Oh, fair enough. Do you know? In a way, I would like a because you're sort of this close to the latter stages. You would like really it to be either a big one away or a beatable team at home. So then you get through to the quarterfinals. But I don't know. I mean, I think last time we got there, AFC Wimbledon, I think we played in the 5th round, wasn't it? I think we won 1-0 at Wimbledon. It was a Murray Wallace goal.
Murray Wallace. He scored early, yeah.
Yeah, I think we won 1-0. It was Brighton at home then, wasn't it, in the quarterfinal?
Yeah, put in the comments who you think we're gonna get in the draw tomorrow, and we'll have a look. I think it'll be quite funny. I think Man City will be concentrating more on the league. To be fair, if they do get through, I can see them concentrating more on the league because that's where the financials are really. But there's a lot of teams
or even
out.
The Champions League. You never know the Champions League because they ain't going to win the league, are they? So, and they might not even qualify for it next year.
If they win the FA Cup though, let's still get some Champions League. Or is it Europa place? Europa place, isn't it?
Just
Europa place, yeah.
Go on, Andy. Sorry, fella.
No, you're good. So I looked beforehand. So the next cup is the weekend of March 1st. And the round of 16 Champions League is that following Wednesday. So if you do get a Manchester City and they do beat Madrid, they'll be looking forward to Wednesday. Man U, I guess, would be in Europa on the Thursday. So I mean, yeah, I'm kind of with Alex where like if we drew Cardiff at home, I'd be happy. I'd be happy. I'd say, okay, that's a winnable match. You know, obviously it would be great to send 8,000 people up to Manchester United, 5,000 plus to Newcastle. Obviously, that would be a fantastic day out. But you know, I'm kind of hoping it's a Cardiff. I'm of trying to avoid. I mean, I don't want to say avoid, but like if we got like an Aston Villa away, I wouldn't feel too confident. I think that might be the end of the road there. They're just playing at a really decent level with whoever they put on the pitch now. Even though they're in the Champions League, they'll be in that round of 16. But I'm glad we're making a run in the cup and having a good time. Yeah.
I seem to agree with Steve. With Steve Jeffrey, he says, "Stronger the better as we thrive, being the underdog." And I don't
That's
know.
true.
I've just got this. I just really do. I mean, Alex Neil keeps banging on about it every press conference and every interview you see with him. He's just like, no one batters, no one scares us. We're not afraid of no one. We just take on whoever and we do it. And I just think that mentality being beaten into the players as such is just. I think we could go out and beat anyone. I really do think we could go out and beat anyone at the minute. I think potentially we could go on a run and maybe get close to the playoffs. I think, we might get through the next round of the cup. We might be able to do a lot of things. But
I mean, if you look at the next round, right?
yeah,
There's 11 Premier League teams potentially out of 16.
and there's some big
Um,
ones as well. I mean, Liverpool's out, etc. You know what I mean?
Well,
Spurs are
yeah.
out.
Chelsea's out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not being funny, right? This might sound ludicrous, but
Ludicrous warning.
it would. Yeah, it would. But do you know what? I think we'd have a chance at Old Trafford. Because they're
Arsenal's out as
terrible
well,
at
aren't
home.
they? Yeah,
Yep.
Arsenal's out as well, aren't they? Yeah.
They don't scare. They wouldn't scare you. And I think you're right, Alex. I think
They are
there's a match
awful
to
at
be
Old
had there.
Trafford.
Can you
I think
imagine
they've
us
lost
getting
7 times at home.
I mean, can you
this year.
imagine that? I mean, I'd love to go. I'd love to go Newcastle because Newcastle Stadium's immense,
I've never been.
and also everyone would love the night out up there and all that lot. But I think Newcastle will be lively. Man United will be fun. It's a big stadium,
Mm.
and I think we could do. I think we could do United. I think
It's mad to
we
say,
could
though, isn't
possibly
it?
do. Yeah, I mean, I think we could possibly do Newcastle on a day, on a night or on a day, purely because again, they are looking at other things. They've got the cup final with the League Cup coming forward, so they're in there.
Yep.
Are they really gonna want to damage their league chance and concentrate on there? I don't know. Out of them all, though, I think Man United just has it written, doesn't it? Man United just go there and get revenge for 2004. Do you know what I mean? Just sort of
Yeah.
get that little bit of revenge in the cup and just sit there and go, yeah, thanks.
And I'm not being funny. And it'll be worth a cheeky bet as well, won't it? It'll definitely be worth one.
I'll be lying. I don't think we can win the cup, mate. I don't think we can. But I just think there's I think
No. I mean, a tie away at Man United would be worth a tenner bet that we could go away and win that.
I just think if we go back 3 weeks, even right, or even go back to the start of the season, there's been a huge agenda through certain people, a certain selection, and they've just constantly gone for, Gallon and everything else, and some of them have been going after, James Berylson and people like that, and you're just like, all of a sudden now, there's some who have been very vocal and they've publicly apologised and said maybe they were wrong and all that, and fair play to them. I'm not going to name you are, and I think that's fair play to you. but there's a lot of others who haven't, and they're just still going along and finding negatives even now, and you're just like, just give it up, mate. I think we've always said you can't judge Gallen really until he's had a couple of windows, and I don't just mean summer and winter. I mean summer, winter. But so far, to sell, we use their cliche of the asset, which I don't think it's how people have perceived it to be. But I think we sold 2 players. We made a bundle of money out of that bundle of money. We brought 7, 8 players. We've invested in 4 youth players. We've given them contracts and obviously better money. We've brought the training ground back, what should never have been sold in 2006, but we brought the training ground back. And it just looks, feasible, especially when you're looking at West Kingsdown is just to build a new stadium right now, or not a new stadium, but build a new training facility right now with the way that the construction market and everything else is. It's just ludicrous. I reckon that, it was 20 odd million a couple of years ago, 25 million a couple of years ago. I reckon that now he's probably looking closer to 40 million. And right now, if you brought the training ground for a little tiny bit of pocket change to a degree, I don't know how much, but you could probably do a lot more there than for a quarter of the money what you would spend on West Kingsdown, and just sit on it. It's not going anywhere. It's a bit of land. Sit on it for a while and then look at it going forward. But invest in the training ground. Because I know we joke about it, but I don't think there's ever been a player who's gone, yeah, no, look at the state of your training ground, I'm not coming.
No, I don't think so. Look, you're playing championship football at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Look, it's not the creme de la creme of a training ground, but it does what it needs to do. And I'm not being funny. If you invest in it now, right, and then when the move out to Kent comes, right, you can then sell that, and you've invested into it, right, you're going to make some money back on it as well. So it's all smart planning as to how.
I don't think they're going to sell Claremont. I think Claremont. There's no chance that they'd sell Claremont. I think Claremont's there. It just makes sense, regardless of what you're doing. So yeah, it just makes sense. Someone's just put, where is it? Stephen Jeffries has just put Millwall to win promotion and the FA Cup, 5,426 to 1.
Tenner, right now, put it in.
What have you got to lose?
That's a pipe dream, though, isn't it, mate? I mean, I can't see that happening, but fuck me, can you imagine? But then again, 2004,
5,001.
Yeah, I mean, you look at 2004, and people probably had conversations. We weren't doing a pod then, and there weren't many around then. But you think that there was probably conversations back then of people at this round going that we're not going to get to the final, but we can have a laugh on the way, and all of a sudden that was probably one of the most easiest cup runs ever.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at that run and the way it all opened up, it was like how it opened up for England at the World Cup, wasn't it? It just opened up really, really well. But at the end of the day, you can only beat what's in front of you, can't you? And they say that's the luck of the cup. It's done as a draw. If you look at Plymouth, all right, they've won against Liverpool. They could play Cardiff next and lose 3-0. It's you just can't tell.
I mean, I know a couple of Portsmouth guys, and they're ecstatic, like Portsmouth fans. They're ecstatic. They are sitting there going, "This is what you go football for."
Absolutely.
Dear me, sorry about that.
So you just kind of talk about how the training ground, and no one's ever kind of turned down a club because their training ground's not up to snuff.
No, I'm saying that I've never heard. We've always sat there and said, if you took your boy into that training ground and look at him, it looks dog shit. I mean, it's pretty much fucking walking into down. Where are you from? New York? It's probably walking into downtown New York, mate. It's like prefab building. It's really old, and yeah, it needs an upgrade, but obviously they weren't going to do an upgrade. But I've not ever heard, actually, apart from myth stories, I've never actually heard of anything of people going, "Oh, I'm not, my boy's not coming there because of the state of the training ground." So,
And I think the point there, we talk about the transfer window. I think you look to someone like Zach Lovelace, where like he didn't leave because of the training ground. He left for, possibly the money. He possibly left for the opportunity for a bigger club. And also the opportunity that we didn't have the structure in place we do now, where we're kind of prioritizing sort of younger players. We're not bringing in, just standard championship, like average players who are going to keep you up, who are just going to keep you in the division. We're changing the model a little bit, and that's why he's decided to come back. I kind of see it as something as like the ambition of Gallon, the ambition of the club to change the structure of our recruitment, kind of speaks to bringing in those younger players. And, it's never about the training ground. But when he said that, I thought of the Lovely situation and how he's come back to us because the project's a bit more
I think,
what he was
I
looking.
think it's a prime example, really, of how the youth set up and the pathway wasn't there. And now, all of a sudden, with a change of bringing in a director of football, who isn't Aldo, and bringing in a manager who gets youth, understands the advantages of youth development, all of a sudden, and also seeing what Essay got, considering he didn't play much, all of a sudden that they got, 14 million is rumoured to be for Essay, and he's got a Premiership move. That must be an absolute excitement to some of these players coming through, including Zach. I mean, I've heard of people saying, that Zach is, was homesick, wanted to come home, etc., etc. Also, he's had some nasty injuries up there, been injured a lot. But again, you've got to understand, he was 15 at the time. And
exactly that.
your parents
I
done
don't
whatever
think,
they done. They got a new house out of it. Good luck to them. Do you know what I mean?
well, the thing is, I don't think Rangers actually wanted to let him go.
No.
Yeah.
So it was clear, really, that it was him that instigated the move because he wanted to come back. And look, yeah, you mentioned about Rom and how he developed. I mean, really, this was his first season playing on a regular basis. Yes, he'd had sub appearances last year, this, that, and the other thing, and had the odd start. But this year he was pretty much an ever present, wasn't he? And this was only his first year of doing that. But it just shows that, that the club are willing to do it and they're willing to invest in the youth. Because, again, if you look at Brentford, you look at teams like that, that's how Brentford made such a successful model, by bringing in younger players and selling them on for big money.
I mean, the Brentford model is old now. I mean, Brighton does the same. It's using stat-based, everything else. But there is a topic, there is a question here, if I can come back to it. Alex S. just raised a great point. He said, the route the club is now going on is hardly groundbreaking. So why has it taken so long to go this route? I think what you've got now is people will actually want to go that route, and we've got people who can actually accomplish that route. I mean, I've said in a long time that I've just never felt that the club had wanted promotion, but I feel now definitely under Alex Neil and Steve Gallen and James Berylson right now, and Mark Fairbrother right now, I think if there was a chance that, well, this window's proved it really, that if there was a chance that we could make a push, then the investment's done. And this window shows it. Not just investment, there's an investment done, but we haven't spent millions and millions and millions and millions of pounds doing it. And we've not got any journeymen in. We've averaged the age of probably 67, and we're now probably 23. It's a slight exaggeration, but we were very, very old. We're still now. I mean, you look at Hutch. Hutch is 34 years old.
Yeah, I don't see Hutch getting a new contract.
No, nor do I. But do you get what I mean? Though?
I don't see that happening.
That was our path. I'm not saying Hutch was, isn't worthy as our captain, etc. But you look at the style of players we were getting, and now look
Yeah.
at the style of players that we are getting. It's madness. And again, I agree with what Alex S says. Realistically, why the hell has it taken so long? Because realistically, 10 years ago, we should have. Yeah, I mean, 10 years ago, 10 years ago was when I did the regen battle. So, 10 years ago, really, we had a few good runs in the FA Cup. We had a few good runs with other bits. That's when we should have started looking at investing in this team, looking at this route, looking at developing youth, creating a pathway. And we never did. And now all of a sudden we've gone that route. It's like, okay, sweet.
I think the ideal time would have been to do it was after we got relegated. I think that would have been the ideal time to do it, because doing it in the Championship can be difficult because of how tough the league is. Like if you look at Sunderland, for instance, they started the project when they were in League One. So I can see potentially that's when they should have done it. But I don't think also there was the push to say, right, let's spend this money and stuff like that. I think now you're right in terms of what you say in terms of they have the ambition. And it's clear that if you can make it work, then there is a real opportunity that you can push these teams to get into the top six, that you can push the teams that are around you. Because if you look at it, we shouldn't be in any danger of PSR and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the clubs around us, particularly the clubs that come down, are going to be in that boat. I mean, if you look at Leeds this year, right? If Leeds don't go up this year, this will be their third season in the Championship next season. If they don't go up, they are going to be in all types of PSR problems because their parachute payments take a massive dip in the third year.
Yeah, if they don't get up, they're bang in trouble, mate.
Oh, 100%.
Absolutely bang in trouble.
Make an academy point. I had this on the radar. Shout out, he either got released this summer or the prior summer. Seb Drudd knocked Rangers out of the Scottish FA Cup today. Right, he came right off the subs bench. Right off the subs bench, he scored about a minute and a half in, and he knocked out Rangers at Ibrox. So, shout out to him. But no, I mean, at the end of the day, like I'm not as much of a when you say we should have done this 10 years ago. I want to still kind of give credit to Gary Rowett because he did give us results the last few years. He is a championship manager. He knows how to work the division. And I think he overachieved with a lot of the players he had. So I thought, the Gary Rowett years, ultimately, the Blackburn match. I think that might be his lasting legacy. But ultimately, he did well with the club. A lot of top half finishes, a lot of championship safety, which we really hadn't had in the past, 20, after about 2006 on. Like, this is a real safe, strong period in the championship. And I'm glad we're making the move now to improve the standard of the player they bring in. Not, keep 30-plus-year-old players who, will continue to be of championship standard, but nothing more. I like that they've decided to do it, and it's worked out really well so far. So I'm happy, but I'll give credit to them too.
I've got a slight question to put to that, right? If the club had been willing to show the ambition at the time, that summer after Blackburn, after that summer, when it really needed to happen, when the club needed a major refresh,
yes,
could Gary have pushed it on? I'm not 100% sure. I don't know, because I think that Blackburn game took a lot out of him and him personally. I mean, I noticed a massive shift in him after that. But, it's like we wasted a season last year when they could have that summer said, right, okay, let's now go out and make these changes and start doing it. But again, it's very hard to know.
I think, and I've just seen it in the comments, and it was something I was going to say, so it looks as if I'm stealing Patrick Barrett's point now. But it's something I saw the other day as well, and it was something I was discussing with. Good players don't make a team. but a good manager can. And I think right now, that's what we've got. We've got a good manager who can basically install confidence. I mean, listen to what he says. I mean, just go into, and listen, I'm not slating Neil Harris. I think he's, he done fantastically well for this club. But again, like Gary Rowett, I think he got to a level where he was never going to take it any further forward. Just a quick point on Gary Rowett. I think Gary Rowett was great for us. We needed stability. We needed someone with his level of championship experience and knowledge to basically keep us there. And I think he settled us into the championship. But I do agree with Patrick that it's not about good players. It's about a good manager, and a good manager can make shit players good, but good players can make any manager look shit. Just look at Joe Edwards. I mean, we had a half decent team as such, old, but they were okay because they kept us up last season with Neil Harris, but they ruined. They just put down tools. So I don't care what anyone says. I think that's exactly what happened. They just refused to work for Joe Edwards, and it pretty much cost him his job.
Possibly cost him his managerial career.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've got to look at the fact now, will another club touch him because of what happened? He's a great coach by all means. He's done a great job as an assistant to Frank Lampard, I think, generally. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right in what you say. Players these days have a lot of power as well, which they didn't have, 10, 20 years ago. But they do have a lot of power.
And that's why I was glad that Alex Neil come in, because I think out of the other names being floated around, I don't know if they would have had the experience to deal with the strong characters. As in Alex Neil, you can sit there, walk in, and any of those players try to shit with him, he'd just sit there and look at him in his broad Scottish accent and just say, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Who the fuck are you? Because just shut up. Shut up. Don't give me this shit about, oh, you don't know what it's like playing. I've played at a higher level. I've played this. I've done this. I've done this. Just shut the fuck up and do what I want you to do. Or I just won't play you. It's as simple as that. And I think that's what it needed. Apart from with Joe Edwards was never going to tell the likes of Hutch or, Bradshaw, etc., oh, you're not playing, because he needed them on side. And they pretty much, stabbed him in the back to a degree. Outside view, obviously, allegedly. So, yeah.
I think it's always going to be difficult for him walking into that particular situation as well. I mean, a man who didn't have the experience, and you come in to manage a club which, its fan base can be difficult to manage if you don't know it well. And if you get off to a bad start, all right, I know he won his first game 4-0, but then he didn't win for however many games it was, 10, 12 games. So, you really do have to have experience and be the right character to manage it, to manage at Millwall, and with the players that you've got as well.
No, there's a question here coming from Des Atkinson, and I'll throw it both for you. He says, and I'll give my view afterwards, because I've spoken to again another pal who does a Southampton show, and I'll tell you what he told me this week afterwards, after you two have given your bits. He says, do people here watching, obviously, or listening, whichever way you do it, want playoffs for the day out at Wembley, or actually want the season getting their asses kicked week in, week out in the Prem? I loved Doc's team, but the money situation was way different then. It's in the level of players I think he's talking about. I mean, Anthony, what's your views? Would you like us to go in the Prem and get our ass kicked week in, week out? Or would you prefer really just to have a day out at Wembley and not win?
No, the goal is always the Premier League. It's never happened in my lifetime. I'm 33 years old and 92. That was right when they got dropped down. No, I want to see us in the Premier League. If it does go the way Southampton's going this year, yeah. Obviously that's unfortunate. You don't want to see that. You don't want to, be compared to Derby County from mid 2000s. You don't want that. But in my lifetime, yeah, no, I want a season. I absolutely would take if it ended up, with a 20-point relegation season. It is what it is. But no, give me the Premiership.
Alex?
Let's have our year. Yeah.
Look, I hate losing at Wembley. It's the worst feeling possible. It's the worst place to lose, and a playoff game is always a worse game to lose. The Premier League, look, for everything it's worth to the club in terms of the money and everything like that, it's worth so much. I would love to go up there. I mean, we'd go up there with the expectation that we'd come back down. So I don't think it would be, as disappointing for us. But I'd love for one season, and I'd go and do it every single away game just to say I've been able to do it. I'd much prefer that than to lose at Wembley, because that is, and now we've done it a few times and we know what it's like.
Yeah.
It's painful.
I spoke to my pal this week, right? Runs a thing. I do apologise, everyone, if you just started tuning in. For some reason, I can't seem to. I can read your comments, but I can't seem to be putting them up for whatever reason. I do apologise. So I can see them, and they're coming through really delayed and whatnot, and we're seeing them. But yeah, so I do apologise. Hopefully, you can see them in the chat you're in. I can't, unfortunately, put them up. If I try and put them up, they take forever. Probably should do my lagging or whatever. I don't know. Not lagging as in drinking, but yeah. He said it's absolutely soul destroying. He said it's good going around, but it's absolutely soul destroying getting beat every week. He said, but it's not really affected the crowds. The crowds knew what was going on and enjoying it. And I think that's where we would be. I think we need the Prem. I think the Prem would be great for us for investment purposes. I think the Prem would, if we got into the Prem, I think the Prem would, pay for the new training ground, pay for some other players, pay for a lot of infrastructure stuff around the club. So I think that there'd be an absolute benefit for there. I personally say I'd like for the Berylsons to take a big drink out of it, because they've put in over 150 million over the years, and they've done that with no avenue of getting their money back. And there was a comment a little while back, I think from Andrew Roberts, who said, John Berylson was, a bit more careful. I don't think it's anything to do with that. I think they're two different people. I think John Berylson, as I said before, was not kept in the dark. He trusted the people around him, so he didn't necessarily get right under the skin. He liked everything about it, chatting to the players. He got to know the players really well and fans and whatnot. And I think that's where it was, in a way that it was orchestrated with the club, that he was more of an ambassador role, sort of more like a president, sort of go around, please the people sort of thing, rather than the day-to-day runnings. And I think what you've got going forward is that you've got James Berylson, I think, who's a lot more hands-on, a lot more business-minded, and he's just looked at it and gone, as if it was his business. And same as any of us would, if you were putting 15 million plus, 20 million plus into a business each year, and you're looking around it and going, I'm getting nothing back out of this, what's going on? At some point, you're going to sit there and go, but if we did this slightly different, we could get this. And if we did that slightly different, we could get that. And we could do, and all of a sudden, it's a completely different kettle of fish. So I think that's where we are. And I think that's what he's done. I mean, I don't know the fella. I've got no idea. I knew John. I used to speak to John occasionally. And yeah, I've not, if I'm more than happy to have a drink, or, you can take me to a posh restaurant if you want, James. I'm more than happy to meet up with you and say hello and stuff. But I met him once. I met him on. I think I met him with Omar on. I think it was Remembrance Day, the Remembrance game, and Omar stands in about 6'1" thereabouts. Omar's quite a big lad, and all I can remember is that James Berylson towered over him. He was like taller than Omar. It was like that. Fucking hell, but yeah, no, that's what I think he's doing. I think he's running it as a business.
I will say
100%.
too, from an American perspective, I'll say, like, I've been Millwall since the first time I've come to London. I did a study abroad in Norwich, and I got a Millwall membership. I went to multiple matches, but when I was there, Norwich were in the Premier League. It was the Grand Holt days, and I did go to an away match, and that Premier League atmosphere, at least from an American perspective, to be a part of that, to be in an away ground, like Alex had mentioned, he would do all the matches. To have that experience was memorable for me. It even so happened they leveled in the 95th minute of that match at Everton. So, like, I remember that Premier League experience, and with Millwall, it'd be so much more important to me. But just to have those away days, if the whole result goes up in flames and it doesn't end well, but you have those days that you never forget, winning a playoff final at Wembley, or going on the road to a Premier League match and winning, it's memorable. So you take it every time.
I mean, there's a clip in there going around with Paul Merson, where he was talking about when Portsmouth come to the Den. I think it was the old Den, to be fair, but come to the Den and beat us 5-1. And he said that Millwall fans gave him a standing ovation, and the amount of Millwall fans who remember that game. And he was unstoppable, and it just sums up that I think that's what it's all about. That's what football's all about. It's about going out beating the big teams. Do I think that we get beat by every team? No, I don't think we will. I think we'll have occasional wins. But do I think that we're going to probably, if we ever got to the Prem, do I think that we're going to challenge the top? No, do I fuck? But that isn't what it's about. I think it'll be, personally speaking, and I know there's a lot of people out there that probably will disagree with the way I feel. I don't class myself as a scarfer in any shape or form, but I think it would be fantastic to scare the living shit out of the Premier League brand, to have Millwall win it for a year. And they would 100%. Earn their money, because it would be carnage. It would be so funny. I'm not saying there would be trouble, because I don't know if there would or there wouldn't. You'll get a lot of the old teams out. I think Everton would probably be the nasty one. Would probably be the one with Stoke. But it would be so funny just to see, these Premiership clubs suddenly having to facilitate 3, 4, 5,000 Millwall fans plus every week. And us just, mate, we still do away games like away games should be dealt with. You saw the videos over the weekend. They're on our YouTube if you've not seen them, of, storming through Leeds station, no one likes us and all this. And that's what Millwall does. It's the banter, it's the enjoyment, it's the away day, taking the piss and getting away with it. But we do. I mean,
you could imagine just now, couldn't you, that it'd be 12:30. Every game would be a 12 o'clock kickoff on a Sunday, or 4 o'clock on a Sunday, or something like that. They'd make it the most impossible kickoff times, because, and I tell you one thing, the FA would hate it. The FA would be absolutely bricking it with Millwall getting to the Premier League. They would absolutely brick it.
Actually, can I just say, and I've forgotten your name, but I posted a video yesterday, and thanks very much to I can't think of his name even now. I'll get it in a sec. But basically, I posted a video yesterday. I got sent a video, and I didn't have a clue, and I posted it out on TikTok, out on Twitter, and just said, like, whoever did this video, fucking spot on. I saw it. It's superb, right? And Jim Lucas, who's a Millwall fan, but he's head of content at the FA, and and he said, "Oh yeah, it was one of our lads that what did it. Sam DeFreites is the guy what done it, but it was fucking brilliant. You know, it was like Simon Cowell going, nope, 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 and they basically edited all Robert's saves together." And then basically put Simon Cowell's voiceover of, you know, it's a no, no, no. And it was fantastic. So I do apologise, Sam DeFreites. Hopefully I've got your name right. And I appreciate, you know, the conversation I had with Jim as well. Because sometimes these big organisations do get, you know, quite uppity when clubs, you know, when fan media share stuff. But yeah, I had no idea. I got it sent to me in a WhatsApp group, and I honestly thought that it was their video, and someone just basically put the voiceover off it. I didn't expect it to be the FA done, but I have to say, top drawer. Well done to the FA for doing it. Well done to see the FA actually having a sense of humour and making, you know, good modern sort of content what goes. So yeah, but going back to what I said, I just wanted to say that. But going back to what I said, I agree with you. I think the FA probably are planning now, you know, how to make sure that we, you know, with the EFL, making sure that we don't go up. You'll probably find that if we get to the championship final, the playoff final, it will be the first championship final that VAR will be coming into action. So,
It's
yeah.
already in. It's already in for the playoff final. But I'll tell you what they'll do. They'll bring out. I'll tell you what they'll do. They'll bring Mike Dean out of retirement, or John Moss, or someone like that to referee it, and the VAR communication will break down, or the cameras will stop, or the goal line technology won't work. There'll be something like that that rigs it so that Millwall don't win the final.
B Lion says if we get to the final, it'll be COVID Mark 2.
Yeah, probably.
You'll have if we score a goal in the playoff final and it goes to VAR review, everyone will be in the stands doing the Neil Harris turn it fucking off. Everyone will be doing the video from Everton. Everyone will just be yelling that out.
Yeah, I get that.
Would you imagine having VAR at the Den? That VAR stand will just be destroyed, won't it? Like the first time a goal gets given against them.
Andrew Roberts has just come up with a good one. If we get to the final, they give us Gavin Ward.
Oh God, Jesus, really?
So yeah.
Yeah.
Where are we, Alex? No, Andrew Roberts. Mickey, did you write the lyrics to the song that was played at the beginning of the podcast? No. What I've done on this one is what I've tried. I've been playing around with it. There's a bit of software what basically can help write the music for songs. So what I've done is that the words what are on there are taken out of different match reports. So there's different match reports what are written, and then basically you'll take a load out of it, throw them all together, and then basically I put it through an AI songwriting machine, and that basically does it. I just wanted to try a more current sort of tune, and also with Bobby, and I've got another one I think somewhere. I'll play one in a minute, which is quite comical to be fair, just a voice message. But if you go on our Twitter page, I'll end up putting it onto YouTube. I'll put it in the link at the top of these comments when this show goes back out. But we're going to look at we're trying to get more interactive. So we're looking at doing voice notes. We are going to be looking at doing, there's a WhatsApp bit coming. You don't have to be involved in any membership group or anything else. We'll do that. For now, get you know, in there where you can leave voice messages or videos. And then that way, when you go away games, where you'll see at the beginning of the clip, there's loads of different clips from the game that if you go to away games, etc., and you give us some videos, could be just you and your pals in it, mate, selfie on a train, whatever, you know, but we give you the option to be able to send it in, and then you might see that your video, your clips will be used in the intro for the Sunday night debrief show. And hopefully we can start moving forward like that. So it's just, listen, we thank you all to get involved, and we're just looking at trying to get it more and more involved, because, you know, come next season it will be a lot more interactive. We've got things lined up. So yeah, but again, look, if anyone does want to support us or whatever, you can see the QR code on the far side of us. and that QR code takes you to the Wynn Trust, which is for Charlie Wynn, who has suffered a brain injury. He's Millwall fan, just getting into the boxing world, and unfortunately, he suffered a serious injury, and it's stopped him fighting. But there's a trust set up for him and other boxers. So again, look, if you want to support it, all that money what you send to them goes straight to them. It doesn't touch us. So yeah, hopefully the voice messages will be good. I've got another one. Let me just see if I can do it. But yeah, go on, Alex. I'll see if I can find it.
Okay, mate. Yeah, I mean, look, if you look at so many areas, especially for the Premier League, right? Could you imagine even how the interactive thing would take off come the Premier League, all the different things that people could post from away days? Look, I think it'd be magnificent for Millwall to get to the Premier League. I do, and especially for the Berylson family. I think you mentioned it earlier. It'd be brilliant for them, brilliant for the club as a whole. I mean, it's just such it'd be the reward that they've earned over the time they've been here to deliver it. And it would honour, I think, John Berylson's
Legacy.
dream that he wanted. Yeah. Absolutely
no,
that.
No, that's it. So yeah, this is one of the voice messages, I think. No, it's not. We'll go there. I'll try and find it again. No, we're maybe it didn't load then. So yeah, all I've got is Bobby's one for now, but I will play it out on the other show. But yeah, we had someone who just, I don't know if they were in Millwall or Leeds. All it said was Leeds falling apart again. And that was it.
Oh, I saw the video. Yeah, I saw the video.
That was it. The geezer just went like Leeds, no, falling apart again. You're like, oh, okay, fine. So yeah, mate, I think we're going to close down in a minute. I can't thank you two enough, mate. I really did think that this was going to be me on my own. I knew that Anthony was coming on, but I had visions that Anthony was going to come on and go, yeah, I can do 10 minutes because then I've got to go somewhere else to talk about the Super Bowl.
I'm going to watch that later, funny enough.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Like the reason Anthony's on, those of you who weren't with us at the beginning, the reason Anthony's on is that Anthony come on the show this time last year, and he messaged me last night and said, I come on last year, a bit of a little tradition, bit of superstition, whatever. Can I come on this year? And I said, yeah, no problem. Come on. So yeah, we do it, and you'll hear him in between probably, but you might not see him again. But don't worry, next Super Bowl he'll be back on again, and yeah, we'll go from there. But that's hence why Anthony's on. For those of you going, who's thingy, Tony W says the Super Bowl is fixed. Anthony,
first off, bit of good news. I'm on the Twitter. I come on every so often, as you mentioned. But I will say, and if it does work out, it'd be amazing. I will be over in July.
Okay.
My mate's getting married in London. I know it's the end of the preseason. I've already told the wife, I'm like, if there's a preseason match and we can get to it, we're going. We're going. This is happening. So as long as it doesn't conflict with the wedding, you may see me in person in a couple months.
We might be going to Spain. So yeah.
If it worked, I really hope so, obviously, as it gets closer. And once the schedule comes out, I will be looking at that intently, hoping that I can make that happen.
We've had someone come in the chat. Daily Millwall says Eagles by 2 points. That probably makes more sense to you than it does to me.
Yeah, so tonight's the Kansas City Chiefs against Philadelphia Eagles. Kansas City Chiefs have won it 2 years in a row. They would be the first team ever to three-peat tonight, win 3 in a row if they win tonight. And you can all go back to last year's podcast. I was asked the same question. What do you think is going to happen? Same answer you get from last year. I'm not picking against the champions. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. Pick the champs till they're the champs no more. Eagles have a very good team. It's going to be their toughest matchup of the 3 Super Bowls. They're so well-rounded. They play great defense, great offense. But the Chiefs have the best player on the field, and that's Patrick Mahomes. So we're going to play the Chiefs until they lose.
And you support who?
I support the New York Jets.
Okay.
Awful franchise. Just don't worry about it. I think they are in London in October, I believe. Though I think they got a London game for next season, so the Jets will be over there.
Are they Wembley or Tottenham?
We've been to Wembley twice. I want to say now they're pushing the Spurs agenda because that stadium is newer. So I think they're trying to get them to play more games at Spurs Stadium. I know the NFL has announced an Ireland game for next year. They've announced an Australia game for next year. NFL is doing big things. We love our NFL. So the wife's going to make a nice spread tonight. We got a couple meals we're looking forward to. And a couple drinks. You know, I started, as you saw.
And you've got a long weekend next weekend as well, haven't you?
Yeah,
is it President's Day? Yeah, President's Weekend.
And we're flying away to see one of her friends in the Washington D.C. area where the White House is. We're down in that area next weekend. So, yeah, good stuff coming up. But tonight's game will be fun. Excited to watch it. I can't wait, and I'm picking the Chiefs for whoever cares.
And there you go. You see, that's the only reason why I wanted to come on, because if they lost, it'd be like, oh well, it's because I didn't go on the podcast. But if they do lose, then he won't be on again.
My Jets, my Jets haven't been to the Super Bowl in 50 plus years.
That's it.
Stink. So I never have to worry about that. But all right, yeah.
Don't worry. When you're coming over, mate, I'll get you. I'll be tapping you up to maybe bring me a New York Yankees top or an official New York Yankees. Because for some reason you can. Well, I think you can buy them now. There's a couple of American stores, but for years, for some unknown reason, New York Yankees would not sell stuff in the UK. And I even approached New York Yankees direct because I wanted a baseball top, and I said, I live in London. Can you send me one? And they went, no. I phoned up New York Yankees and I went, can I have a top? And they went, no. And I was like, fuck. I got one in the end, but yeah, when we went to America, I got one. I went to Vegas and I got one there. So yeah, I need a bucket hat for that head. Thanks for that. Alex S has said, MAGA, Millwall are great again. Daniel Barnett says, long weekend in Canada, family day. Someone's sat there and said, Tony W says, hopefully you're not drinking Bud Light.
Oh boy.
Oh
boy. That is
Anthony's woke.
Dear.
No. A beer is a beer.
Oh dear.
And let me put a good beer thing on here. So the wife got this for Christmas. If you could see the 12 beers of Millwall. It's their last 12 kits. The wife got it for me for Christmas. She found it online.
Like
so
that is good. I like that.
She found it hiding. I love it. Had to wear it today. We had a little Bud Light controversy. We did in the States. Woo. But no, beer's a beer. They don't matter none. Don't matter none.
Alex S has said Anthony is a designated driver.
Not tonight.
Well, you're drinking Bud Light.
Could be, yeah.
Alex, any final words, fella?
No, other than surely it's a guaranteed 1-0 defeat at Plymouth on Wednesday night after 4 straight wins. But Leeds.
We said that about Leeds. We said that about the game before. But
Plymouth, bottom of the league. We don't do well against bottom of the league.
We don't.
We said that about QPR as well, didn't we? We said that about who did we play? Who did we play before Leeds? I can't remember now.
What, QPR?
QPR, wasn't it?
Portsmouth at the limit. Yeah, Luton,
Portsmouth or Luton, wasn't it, I suppose?
Yeah. Well, listen, I think right now, And Andrew Roberts says, Anthony, you need to try British lager. Much, much stronger. Bud is piss water.
Well, no. So this is about 4.5%. I know it's light. I got an 8% waiting for me outside after this. So we were at a brewery last night. We know our beers.
I
No, you
rank
don't.
Bud
was-
Light
No,
lower
you
than
don't.
Foster's.
No, you don't. I
Bud
love
Light's
that when
low.
Americans go, we know our beers. You're like, no, you don't.
No, definitely
We're,
not.
no. Give me a sec.
It's
Give
gonna
me a
bring
sec.
a Carling Black Label back, isn't he?
No.
Here he
yeah.
goes.
Yeah, no, I'm
Here
getting
he
shit on
goes.
Bud Light. Yeah, give me a sec.
He's gonna come back with a red
Getting
Bud.
shit for Bud Light.
Red
No.
Bud.
No,
We're
you're not
coming-
getting shit for Bud Light. We're just saying you're woke.
Oh no! Whoa, no.
Okay.
We're not. We're
Okay.
not on that side. Come on now.
Oh, okay.
No, we got an 8% Imperial Sour from the brewery I was at last night.
Cool, man.
Imperial
This is-
Sour. I don't like the sound of sour lager though.
What you need to do
It's
is you need to come
quality.
over here and we'll go drink. You need to go down to Somerset Way and drink some of that dirty, cloudy, bits floating in it, cider.
Yeah.
And then you'll realise that it's our alcohol is very, very
It's
strong.
different level.
No, yeah,
The
different
last
level.
The last night the wife and I were in London, we went to Nando's for dinner and then we got a brew dog. So we went to brew dog, we had a good night, decent night,
Yeah,
So
Americans fucking don't know about beer. So yeah, no, that's fine.
No.
Near Bermondsey, there's a beer mile, mate, and it's proper craft beer. And if there's any of those companies watching us, please get in touch. More than happy for have a discussion about sponsorship if you want for next year. But yeah,
hope to share a
Brewdog's
beer
all
with
right,
both
but
of you
yeah.
soon. Hope to
Definitely.
share a beer with both of you. Yeah.
100%, mate.
Definitely. I look,
100%.
Patrick Barrett even says no such thing as British beer. All Dutch, German, and Italian. They are indeed, mate. But at the end of the day, there are some.
They're not American.
There are some good fresh made ones here. They're not American. They're made up names. There's Moretti, which is basically Carling Black Label relabeled. But yeah, hey ho. Or Carlsberg relabeled, whichever way it is. So yeah. Right, that is it from us. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Hopefully it hasn't been that bad tonight, and it's been an interesting show. It's been an interesting discussion, to be fair. And I didn't necessarily think it was going to be like that. I thought it was going to be more structured to a level, I thought. But hey ho, it's these shows are always the way that they go with the guests you have on. So it's been good. The time has gone fast. I am trying to drag out time because I'm trying to find something, but for some reason my computer is slower than a dead frog. And yeah, it's I've got no idea. I think it's because I'm upstairs, and I think for some unknown reason the Wi-Fi is really shockingly poor. And I'm trying to find the intro, which I'm getting close to.
You need a booster, mate.
No, I'm tall enough, mate. Thanks, but even though that conversation happened last week or the show before, there we go. Right, that is it from us. I'm going to end with the intro. Thank you very much to Anthony, who is going to be wanting the Chiefs to win, and there's going to be people out there who want the Eagles. The only reason I said both their names is that it helps with the YouTube algorithm, what will probably pick us up and put us in touch with loads and loads of Americans this weekend. But hey ho, thanks for joining us, and I'll play the intro again.
Millwall podcast. Good evening, Bobby T. Dirty Leeds Northern cunts. What happened? Millwall 2. Dirty Leeds marching on together. Millwall 2.